so much. That's incredibly kind. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us at home. Hello and welcome once again to Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. And can I just start by saying to all the viewers at home, thank you so much for not bothering to vote for me in the National Television Awards. I got less votes than Ian Duncan Smith. Now, there were a couple of good reasons I didn't go to the award ceremony, and there were two good reasons, in fact. One, ant. Two, deck. Fair play, they were always going to win. They've got twice as many mums voting as me. I only have the one mum, and she voted for them as well. Speaking of the television awards, may I introduce the men who'd be only too happy to show Ant and Dec where they could shove their trophy. It is my house band, Four Puffs and a Piano.
International Playboy, the last of the famous. International Playboy.
Well, has a certain charm. Shall we see who the nominees are for my chat show tonight? Let's have a look in the green room. My first guest is a very talented TV presenter who did me a great favour on the pilot episode of this show, the one we did to kind of test the idea out. It was never broadcast. He stood in for no money as a last-minute replacement. I promised him that if we got a series, I would definitely get him back on, and here he is, just 3 years later. It's Dermot O'Leary. I apologise. My next guest is one of the biggest recording stars in the world today. She's the planet's leading exponent of rhythm and blues, or as I shorten it to in my house, W and B. It is the lovely and talented Alicia Keys.
I'm here, hi.
Beautiful. Our next guest was on the last series. He was so outrageous that week the BBC had to screen an hour-long points of view special just to deal with the fallout. It is Mr. Paul O'Grady. Paul, lovely to see you again on Best Behaviour.
I am, like a saint.
It's great to see him here. Last time he came on, he just had a big heart scare, and tonight, I thought at the time it might be your final interview.
Are you talking to me? Sorry, I'm just sitting here, like my medication's kicked in.
Well, that's good. And finally, we have music from the quite simply fabulous Flaming Lips, one of the best bands in the world, in my humble opinion. Look at that. All right. Thanks for having us, yeah. What a green room that is. That truly is something for everybody. We have the beautiful Alicia Keys for the gentlemen, the handsome Dermot O'Leary for the ladies, and Paul O'Grady for paramedics everywhere. Don't eat that, it's full of fat. You should be on carrot sticks.
Shut up, I'm starving. Have you seen what food you got down in that green room? Bloody vegetarian muck. I want a bacon butty.
The whole show degraded to the level of snack talk. Rod Stewart's got a new record this week, ladies and gentlemen. He's been with the same leggy blonde for 3 years. And for Rod, that's quite a record. But the pressure's got to him because he's gone, I think, officially nuts. Did you see this headline in the paper? He's had a go at Paul McCartney. This week of all weeks, just when Paul's become a father for that oh-so-special 19th time. But he's not just savaged Sir Paul McCartney, he's also had a go at Sir Elton John and Sir Mick Jagger. Are we spotting a pattern here? Mr. Rod Stewart? He wants a knighthood. Rod has been so grumpy this week. Now, either at his age, he's just going through the change, although he's Scottish, so presumably he goes through the change every morning, or he was worried about this week's gala premiere of the Rod Stewart musical. Now, it's by Ben Elton, and Ben is an amazing talent. You know, hats off to Ben, writing the Queen musical and Rod's musical on the back of the same fag packet. Here's a taste of the plot. It's rubbish. Can I just make a plea to HMV shops everywhere? Keep Ben Elton out of the greatest hits section. But I think Rod was right to be worried about the performance, because here he is arriving at the show with Penny Lancaster. Okay, that's his current young lady, wearing that outfit. Hell's teeth. You know what's even more shocking? I read that the dress designer responsible for that is now working on one for Cherie Blair. Cherie, no. Tony's got a heart condition. Maybe she just took out some insurance recently. But just look at that. Look at the dress. Look at the back view there. You know, I don't know about Rod's new musical, but you can nearly see her West End opening. Look at it. It's... Who wants to see that? No one, frankly. Cover up, woman. Should we get our first guest out, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Here's a young, good-looking television presenter. Although, you know, in the wrong light, he does pass for quite convincing Ian Duncan Smith double. Mr. Dermot O'Leary.
There's no fight, then fight this battle of love with me. You win again, so little time. We've done nothing but talking.
Yeah, you see, you've got the face on the T-shirt. That means you've arrived.
Really? Loving that, boys. This is a very tall person's couch, isn't it? Look. If I sit back like this, suddenly, look.
How
How's that supposed to make you feel comfortable?
You are quite... How tall are you?
Now you've got the upper hand already, look.
Well,
I'm not as short as everyone says I am. I'm 5'9".
Well, that's ish. Quite a reasonable height for an adult.
10 on a good day.
Do you think there's any growing left to be done?
Very much doubt it.
Were you short as a youngster? Obviously, you were when you were first born, but I mean, you know, but did you feel shorter than everyone?
About 13. You get to that horrible age when you're 13, and all the girls in your class are taller than you, and so I knew the sort of chips were stacked against me then. So I just.
But you have a certain something, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? There's a certain rugged attractiveness.
Mumble. That was.
There's a certain Steve McQueen call about you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, there's a certain something about you. There's a little bit of, if you don't mind me saying, a little bit of early Michael Caine, maybe even a little bit of Steptoe, you know, the younger. Well, you know what I'm saying, 70s kind of charisma. That's it. But things are going great for Dermot right now. You've got a show on BBC One.
Yeah.
Born to Win, Saturday nights.
Born to Win Saturday nights.
It's like a knockout competition, isn't
Yeah, kind of. We took 20 young athletes, all of sort of different disciplines. So one's a boxer, one's a decathlete, and 10 boys, 10 girls. And we took them out to Austria, and then through a series of events or whatever over 3 weeks, Colin Jackson, Sally Gunn are our mentors. They decide who goes home, so it's got a bit of a reality twist to it. But
Yeah, and so you're out there in Austria with a bunch of teenagers, okay? Different sports, different disciplines. How does that work that you get a boxer going up against someone who just runs fast? I mean, it's got to be kind of unfair, I would have thought.
yeah, it is.
Okay.
No. What we did was we picked, or we sort of designed certain events, so, you know, we're testing them on endurance and focus and tactics and all these different things.
Yeah.
So if one person's good at one thing over sort of a period of an hour, or the show being an hour, if one person's good at one thing, then someone else should be good at something else. So it should level out.
It evens out then.
It should do.
And you excited about the fight? I mean, you presumably you know who's
live,
won.
so I'm happy.
Oh,
No, it's live. Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
It's live tomorrow night. We've
But-
pre-recorded 2 events.
But you're going back to Austria for this?
No, we're doing it in LWT.
But so what do you do then? This is like Capricorn 1, where it was meant to be on the moon, but it wasn't. It was in the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have a floor manager and lay the hose and walk past.
We,
and,
we spent far too much money out in Austria, so yeah, now we're getting the
Someone
Bratwurst
with
boys back here.
a flugelhorn.
Yes.
What was Austria like then? I've never been to Austria.
So, you know, I've been there a couple of times. It's the first time I've been in the summer. It's beautiful, but only if you like sausage and cheese. Like sausage and cheese, best place in the world for you. If you don't like sausage and cheese, or any food that solidifies in your stomach while you're eating it.
So that's the Austrian diet?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you like the Austrians? Were they nice people? Did they make you feel welcome?
Lovely. Because I've got to be honest with you, my experience before now was they've been quite rude to me.
Which
last
mainly,
time
I would have thought, like me, war films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And skiing.
Skiing.
Yeah. And I do not like it when you cut them up.
Yeah, I've never been skiing.
Albeit unintentional.
You look like a kind of tough guy. You look like an action-loving guy. I don't know whether you actually are. I don't know whether you're a rough person. I don't know whether you like to have a fist fight occasionally. Maybe you have a few drinks and you punch someone occasionally. I don't know that. You might not want to admit that in public, but you do look like that, and I wonder whether, looking that way, whether that causes problems for you.
I played American football, which is in itself... It poses more questions than answers. But I used to play American football when I was little.
Yeah.
And because I grew up in Essex, and about 2 weeks ago, my old team got back together. It was our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
We said, come back and play, and and we'd do a bit of PR and we'll raise some money for charity. So I went back,
Well, that's nice.
played the game against a local university team who a couple of the boys play for, and I thought it'd be friendly, be a great laugh, and it'd be wonderful playing again. Of course, all they hear and we think it's going to be a lovely friendly and so forth. Their team talk is get the guy that's on television, whatever it takes. Make sure he hurts.
What were you
so
thinking?
I literally, and you've got pads on, so it shouldn't hurt. I cracked my rib. I've got a cut down there. How they got through the padding with a knife, I don't know, but they did. But that's Essex.
Now let's talk about this SAS show. It was really it was such a kind of interesting idea. It was called SAS Are You Tough Enough? This was on BBC Two, about a year ago, was it on?
Yeah, February, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
There have been 2 series. You're going to do another one of those?
They've commissioned 2 more. We've got one in fact, I go out a week on Sunday to Namibia for about 6 weeks to do the next one, which is obviously desert stuff, and then in the Arctic in February, I think. The big one, I guess, was last series in Borneo, which is the one most people saw, and we got nominated for a national TV award for, which is nice.
Let's have a look. This is a clip. I think this is the clip of the series that took place in Borneo. This is SS Are You Tough Enough?
Take your hat off. These bottles should be full. That's a mark against you, Huntley. Get your asses into that river. Move.
Get that fucking water jerry can with you.
In real SAS selection, soldiers aren't punished or beasted in this manner, but the DS feel that the discipline of the volunteers has slipped.
I must fill my water bottles. Like, run up there, move.
Normally this is done in the jungle, but as they've got raw recruits here, they're keeping them out in the open so they can keep an eye on each other and not get lost. Now, the emphasis here is on repetition, which is why they're going to do it again and again and again and again until they get it right.
I like the fact that some of them had camouflage on, but one guy, his camouflage was great. You couldn't see his face at all. It was like...
It's very difficult to interview people because when the SAS guys, they just shout at you in the middle of an interview.
Like what?
Well, you're trying to get an interview out of someone, and say their hat's down like that, and you might, so you're quite tentative, and you've got someone crying because they just can't take it anymore. You go, do you mind if you put your hat off? And the SAS guy will walk around and go, don't you take that effing hat off? And I'm like this going...
What's wrong with them? Why are they so angry?
There's a lot of frustration there.
There seems to be a lot of tension amongst the SAS.
See, I've got to go out there to Namibia a week on Sunday. I'm not saying anything.
But do you...
They're great guys, but
would you be... Could you do that? Would you be tough enough to do that?
Absolutely hideous.
It doesn't look that hard, I'll be honest with you.
You know you're lying when you say that.
I think I could do that quite easily.
We've tried to do one for Comic Relief. I'd have loved you to come on.
It would have been easy. You know, it's a few press-ups and then you run around in the water. It's probably quite a nice day out. I mean, have you done it?
No. You try and do a little bit of it. It is impossible. It's very difficult.
Maybe it's impossible.
It's very difficult, Jonathan.
Well, why is it difficult? We saw them.
Jonathan,
a few press-ups, they ran through the mud, a bloke shouted at them. You shout all you want, I don't mind.
There you go.
I don't need to show off, I know how to do it.
Take it to the plate.
I know.
I know this is your house, and I have the utmost respect for it.
Well, you know, it just looks a little bit... When you were working with the SAS, did any of them mention one of their former members who had managed to leave the service and had perhaps appeared on television with a slight speech impediment? Because if they're talking about me, I'm going to have to kill them.
You come to know.
Well, good luck out there. I'm looking forward to seeing the new series because it is an exciting show. When I first saw you and began to think, OK, this guy is going to be a real player on television, someone I think who's going to be around for a long while, was when I saw you doing Big Brother's Little Brother, which was the kind of spin-off show from Big Brother, which is on Channel 4 on E4. Now, this is something that I get the feeling you really enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's my favourite show I do. And
why
no disrespect to any other show that I do, but I love it. Because it's live, it's every day, and you can put your own personality into it, and you can give it your own twist. And, you know, I sort of give a weird Jerry Maguire-like mission statement speech to the production team before we start. And in it I include them, I'm going to buy you lots of drinks, and then they start listening. And yeah, I genuinely love it. And it's weird, because I think Big Brother's such a divisive show. I think you either love it or you don't like it, but at the same time I think it's an everyman show, because I know it's very different now to the first series. I know. Yeah,
well, the last series, I think it's generally perceived by, I think, all and sundry, including people at Channel 4, as a bit of a failure. It was a bit of a damp squib. Well, the last series of Big Brother itself.
Viewing figures, it was fine. I think voting figures, it was down. But more importantly, they didn't have anyone on there who was oblivious, like Jade or Alex.
You want
or
someone
Helen.
who you really can either, you know, love or loathe, don't you? And you didn't really have that last.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, everyone says they were boring, but they're actually quite intelligent, the people that were on.
Well, they weren't that intelligent, were they?
Well, I think when you look at it on paper...
If they were that intelligent, what the f*** were they doing on Big Brother? You know, to be honest with you.
Well, you say that, but then when you leave and make 100 grand doing promotions, then they ain't active.
What's this going on here? What are you doing now? This is some sort of a nervous tick you've got going on. I don't know whether you should be allowed back in the jungle with all this going on. I think you need some sort of help, some sort of therapy before you go.
But, I mean, Team Big Brother was mental.
Well, Team Big Brother, I have a bunch of... This is where you saw teenagers having sex.
Yeah.
That was... do you think that was OK? That was acceptable to do that to those kids?
Who did what to the kids?
Well, show it on television.
It's difficult, because at the end of the day, they're 18 and they're adults, and they made the decision to do that. And the thing was, Channel 4, in their heart of hearts, commissioned that show as an education show.
Oh, come on.
Through education.
O'Leary, come on.
And if you look at it, if you think about it, they weren't allowed any alcohol.
No.
They weren't allowed any contraception.
Yeah.
They all stayed in the same room.
Yeah.
It's not particularly conducive to having sex.
You put kids in a room together, even without alcohol and contraception, they will find a way of getting themselves dizzy by running around in a circle, and then they'll use a crisp bag. I've seen this sort of thing happen. Okay?
I'm going to call what happens in your house.
We know this happens. I've got nothing against teenage sex. Matter of fact, I'm all for it. It's just my wife won't let me have any. But it just struck me as being a little bit crass, a little bit opportunistic of the channel to say, OK, we're doing this, and then, well, here's something, and everyone's been saying we want to see Sex on Big Brother. We've got some now, we've got it. Here we go, let's bung this out.
I don't know, but to be fair, in actual fact, the producers were like this. Oh, my God, there were kids having sex
If they were
on
really
one
like
show.
that, they wouldn't have shown it.
You can't go, but they can't go and stop them.
Well, they don't have to show it.
The weirdest thing was...
But it wasn't live, was it?
No, the weirdest thing was...
Well, then you don't have to show it. That's why we have editing suites.
But that's why we have, you know, freedom.
That's why we say, that's not freedom. You can't make a case for freedom by saying, yeah, we showed a couple of kids shagging in a sleeping bag on TV. I know they knew, but...
They knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't idiots.
I like this body language here. This is... You studied this, I can tell. You're saying, I'll move him, make contact, and win him over with my close friend. In a minute, he's going to touch my arm and go, but you know, we're not unintelligent people.
I don't see a problem with it.
Well, I don't see a major problem. I just thought Channel 4, it struck me that they're trying to kickstart...
Stop beating up on me about it, then.
Well, it's not your fault. I'm just saying, let's join hands and say those people are wrong.
No. OK, I'm back.
This is a clip from Big Brother's Little Brother, because I think there's a certain joie de vivre you brought to that show. There was a certain liveliness, a certain love of the medium, which is quite rare these days in television, and I think you exhibited it through the joy of dance.
You know what's coming, don't you? Hey, come on! Go on, Admiral! Hey, come on!
It's a fun show. I must admit, I think I enjoyed that much more than Big Brother itself.
I love doing live television.
And they're doing another Big Brother, and you're doing another Little Brother's Big Brother?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, they haven't asked me to yet, but I hope so.
Dermot, thank you for coming on the show. I watch all your shows with great interest. I think you're a real talent. Dermot O'Leary, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on. Well done. That was great.
Oh, you're off now?
You can go now. Lovely. And a job well done. Look at the swagger there. Look, he's happy with that.